Right, cool. That's our final film in cinema. Final film in cinema. Sean, this is the film we're talking about that has shown up out of absolutely nowhere.
Nowhere, yeah.
No fanfare, no nothing. Didn't even know it existed. And this is, you saw a film called The Retaliators.
The
Tell us,
Retaliators, yeah.
tell us what on earth this mushroom film that has just shot up overnight is.
Okay, so I'll give you the prologue, all right? Because I mean, if it's a thing. So basically, there's a truck full of girls in a combi van, and they go, oh, we got a bit off track. Better take this, and we'll go through this place, and then they get a tire. They get a blowout on a tire. So one of the girls gets out to blow a tire, and you see a few things running about and all that, and then the girl with the tire gets like smashed, and it's like creatures that are all cut up and bloody zombie like.
Oh yeah.
This guy opens the back of the truck, and they're going, it's a zombies, and he goes, they're not zombies, and then he gets dragged under the truck, and that's the prologue basically, and then it goes into the story. So that's the start of the film. But it's just so you're like, whoa, this is intriguing. They're not zombies. Whoosh, and off he goes. And then everyone else, I assume they're all killed because this is another 18, and it's very, very, there's lots and lots of blood in this. So basically the story, I suppose you'd call it, I don't know if you could call it a revenge flick, or you could call it, yeah. Well, it's basically a revenge flick. So it's this preacher.
With a name like The Retaliators.
Yeah. So this is a preacher, and then it flashes to somewhere in New Jersey, and they're buying a Christmas tree, and there's this reverend, this father he's got his two girls, and another bloke takes a Christmas tree, and he sort of turns the other cheek. He's like, oh, okay, then, happy Christmas and all that. And his daughters are a little bit, oh, Dad, why don't you stand up? You work out and stuff and all this. Why don't you? But he's a pastor. He's a pastor in the church. He's got a big congregation. Yeah? So he's like turns the other cheek and stuff. And then let's just say something happens to one of his daughters, which was really, really good. It wasn't silly what happened, that sort of thing. It wasn't like silly. So I thought, oh, wow, this is actually something that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
And of course, so let's just say, he gets it. All right. So basically, this is just like a total back to the 80s schlock horror, total loads of blood, loads of gory characters. You've got Hell's Angels, you've got, loads of druggies, loads of sleazeballs, loads of, it's just great. It was just so out of left field. It was just like, I cannot believe I've watched over the weeks. There's been these films that have been okay, maybe not okay, maybe, and then all of a sudden, bang, in your face, super schlock, blood, heads rolling, limbs being thing, people going through mincers. It's just like, everywhere. It's just like total everywhere. And a lot of the actors in this film or bit parts are all from bands like Motley Crue and Five. So there's all these characters turn up, and they're really, really well acted. And even at the end, after all the credits, you've got these people saying, "Oh man, when I was asked to be in this movie, and so it's all sort of behind the scenes of what happened and stuff." And so
yeah.
I want to do this again, man. I want to, you know what I mean? Imagine. So yeah, and it's just so you've got that beginning, you've got a little run up, only a short run up, and what I liked about this, although it was the things that happened, the scenes that happened, and as they happened were, well, I believe anyway, which I thought were, yeah, okay, that's going to happen. That's not silly. That's how it could go. Do you know what I mean? So I wasn't don't be so blood. Even though the blood and guts and gore and all that was like, whoa, this is good. Shotguns, and it's just a total slicey, shoot 'em, mince 'em, crack 'em fest with gushings of blood going everywhere. Like ridiculous amounts of blood that probably you wouldn't even have enough blood in the body for what was coming out of some of these. You know what I mean?
Is it a bit Evil Dead?
Possibly, yeah. There's possibly some nods to Evil Dead. There's possibly some nods to some other films in there, but I didn't really. For me, I was just enjoying the film so much that I wasn't getting
because I was looking at it. So obviously, I said this film showed up out of nowhere. Having absolutely no clue. I've gone to look at some of just get some information about it. And one of the things it says that it has Tommy Lee of the drummer from Motley Crue, the one who was famously married to Pamela Anderson. Yeah. He just plays a character that's only called Strip Club DJ.
Club DJ, yeah. So
and the fact that you have that makes me. I was happy you said like this sort of like a throwback to the 80s, because I was like, This sounds very 80s.
Yeah. Well, I've been, you know, I've been to, like you said, DJ. I've been to clubs where where people like that DJ in certain times, you know, in certain places. So but like I say, what I really liked about this was everything was sort of, except for, here comes the except, is
the ending. The last 10 minutes were stupid.
Well, no, they weren't. It wasn't really stupid. It was just, well, I suppose perhaps maybe it was, but you know, like I've had this thing where you get the finale punch up where
they throw away all the weapons because we're
so much punishment, and you're like, God, you know, how can you? All right, you might be fit, you might be beefed, you might be like super fit, but there's no way you're going to end up being slammed about and thrown about. And it was a bit like that. What was the Florence Pugh film?
Black Widow.
Black Widow, where, you know, some of the things that happen, you just think that's going to put you out. There's no way you're gonna get up from that sort of punishment. So, yeah, but I can forgive that because the rest of the film was just for me, it was just a super. I think I shouldn't imagine it would appeal to everybody. I should imagine some people would find it quite. Because it was such a throwback to the 80s, because some of the cinema crowd went, some of the, like Ben and some of the cinema crowd went, and I asked them what they thought afterwards, and they were like,
oh, so the people who actually work in the cinema.
Cinema went to see it, but they're obviously a lot younger, and yet, see, they like bodies, where me and Shaun were like, get out of here, you know? So it must just be a generation thing. I suppose it's like my 70s movies. You know what I mean? It's like a throwback to that I got. But I was so pleased that I took this one in, because I had no preconceptions. I had no idea what it was about.
And you said it was pretty much in the cinema for one day and it's gone.
For one day, yeah. So I mean,
so how many stars would you give this?
Well, I'm going to give this a 4. If it hadn't been for that silly bit at the fight thing, I probably would have given this a 5. But there was enough in it not to stop me giving it a 5. But I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I'm so glad I've seen it after what I have seen so far, that this brought back my faith in cinema.
Oh wow, a schlocky horror.
I'm really enthusiastic about
a schlocky horror bloodbath, and I'm guessing that because it's 80s, sort of like nudity as well, with Tommy Lee in it.
No, there's no nudity.
No nudity.
No. Just in the sleazeball DJ bit.
Sleazeball DJ bit. But that's the in 80s movie, there was always a strip club scene. Always, just randomly. Yeah. It doesn't matter what film it was, there was just a strip club scene for some people. Yeah, but okay, so and that has brought back Shaun's faith in cinema.